educational without that as well, and probably see that if we can do something good without it too.
Yeah,
So
speaking of
yeah.
graphic.
Sorry.
Hi Rahul.
Listen, how's it going?
I'm good, man. I'm good. What's up?
Awesome. They all set. I'm a little short of slides today, but I think we'll still be able to cover everything. So yeah, I'm pretty much all ready.
Awesome, guys. Okay, I'll just probably have like a quick, brief intro, and then I think we have another 2 minutes, so we'll wait for some more people to hop on.
Sure.
All right, guys. So couple of things. Number one, please be on mute because unless like the speaker, that's Rahul, actually asks you to get on the voice chat because it really disrupts the flow of the speaker when he can hear himself. So you might not realize it, but if you're not on mute, your voice echoes. I mean, his voice will echo. Okay, so please be on mute. That's number one. Number two, now just want a quick brief intro to who Rahul is. For those of you who may not know, I'm surprised because Rahul is one of the most active people on the community. He's almost always there helping people out, sharing his expertise, etc. In fact, that's how I actually first found out about him. We were actually doing a session, and just a second. Hello, can you still hear? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah, so we were doing a session and then we just asked, like, similar to this, we had like an Avalon overnight session. And at that time, Rahul came in and he pitched in some insights. And I remember both me and Avilav, like, we were just wondering, hey, this guy seems really smart. And after that, in fact, the funny thing is, I actually had an acquaintance with Rahul before that when he actually participated in one of the debates, but I didn't know it was the same guy. He used to call himself Rahul the Sales Bog. I'll let him tell you why he actually does that. But yeah, I looked at that name and I was like, who is this guy? And then we had another session where I was just simply sitting on one of the, I think the sales or marketing voice channels. And we had like a very quick impromptu session where it was just, initially it just started off with, 3, 4 people and we were just talking. And then we saw a lot of people hop on and Rahul actually went through the entire sales process that he had. And it was very insightful. We ended up learning a lot of things. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you will actually pick up a lot of tips today from him. So that's when we actually reached out. I reached out to him and I was like, why don't we make this thing like a formal session? So hopefully Rahul will be here for, he like a recurring session where he comes in every now and then, shares his insights and his learnings. And the best thing is it's all for free, and he's doing it out of his busy schedule. So it's really cool. So I'm glad that you all are a part of this. So yeah, over to you, Rahul. Do you want to explain why you call yourself Rahul the Salesberg and then maybe brief us on the session?
Oh yeah, awesome. Awesome. Why not? Yeah. So the reason I call myself sales work, which is a mixture of sales plus side work, is because I believe that in today's age, technology has really enabled us in a very, very fascinating way where we can really, automate the processes which you generally follow, day-to-day processes and your activities, and you can organize them in a way where it's no longer human based. It's very, very interactive in nature. It's very dynamic. It's very process oriented, and you can function like a cyborg. So probably not as amazing as having an Iron Man suit, but very close to that using different softwares we have available today. So that's the concept behind the name. And this is something which I help people as well with, to convert from a normal human being to a cyborg. And if you're interested about that, we can have a conversation or a session like that on the same topic someday else. But coming back to today's session, I see that one of the key things which Avalon is about is how you can start your entrepreneurial journey. And there are a lot of people over here who are currently freelancers or trying to find co-founders or basically looking to build a product or a startup or anything of that nature. But the thing is, this journey is not really that easy. It's a very tough journey. I recently, I went through that journey myself and I made shit ton of mistakes. I learned quite a bit in that journey altogether. And I think, that's why sharing the whole journey as well as we go, and also the things which really help us to get there, and a process which you can replicate as well. So the concept is going from ideas to products. So we are going to cover three things majorly in today's session, which is going to be validating an idea, thinking about a solution, and how do you test that solution and build a product and go to market. So that's going to be the whole whole umbrella of the session today. I'm so sorry I had some like impromptu calls, so I'm a little bit out of slides today, but I have slides up to the problems and understanding the problems, and that's majorly the wider segment of the thing. So we'll get started very soon. But before we go there, I want to kind of understand the audience, and I want to keep this really interactive because I think boring session should be a crime, and people should be hanged for it. And I don't want to be hanged. I'll keep it very interactive, and I want to hear about your thoughts and bug me in the middle if you disagree with me, and whatever you think should the flow of this session be. So to begin with, I want to ask you guys, do you think that the average age of startup founders across the globe, successful founders, is rapidly decreasing? Do you have any insights on that? Do you think can you share your thoughts on that? Anyone can unmute. And do you think this is a true statement?
Yeah, it's completely true statement. When we passed our 12th and 11th, so people were not quite acquainted with digital technologies like Discord, and so they could not
Mm-hmm.
find proper people founders and get their idea motivated or boost up. So these and nowadays people can easily find that and get best peoples and best advices right now.
Right. Interesting. That's a very anyone else who want to go ahead and share their thoughts on this about people like especially founders and this era, the rate of success by the age is decreasing at a very rapid rate. So we are seeing lots of young founders, very successful in what they're doing. What are your thoughts on that? Anyone else who wants to go? I'll probably let two more people go. So yeah, thoughts on that? Can you guys hear me? At least
Yeah,
I don't
could it
know.
be that we have been exposed to more younger founders as we grow up? When I was in class 6, I had no idea about it, so I might assume that there are no young youth founders. But as I grow older, I realize, okay, there's an industry, and I get exposed to it more often. So I won't say rapidly, but to a minimum level.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because rapid matlab like 10, 15 years decreasing of average age. I remember reading an article that the average age of a successful entrepreneur founder is 45, but that was a year back.
Right. Awesome. So actually, it was even like more back then, and it's rapidly decreasing down and down, and reason behind it. So we as youngsters understand the dynamics of this society much better than the people who have even 5, 10 years of experience. So entrepreneurs today think that the marketing books of the older times are going to work out for them, but it doesn't work that way because earlier there was not something as popular as meme, which if is compelling enough can reach to every single phone within a matter of hours. So if I sleep at night and then something happens, like a video comes out, and then suddenly by the morning Priya Prakash Valia is in everyone's phone, right? So that connection has been formed. Like we are so strongly interconnected, and we as youngsters understand the hypothesis of understand the flow of this much better than people who have more experience. So even though they know a lot of things, it might not work out for them because of the same reason, because we understand this world much better, we understand youngsters much better, we understand virality much better, right? And a simple example, if you want to understand about that, is, so let's, if you are a virus, and then tell me what's the fastest way for you to spread. Can anyone tell me what's the fastest way for you to spread if you are a virus?
Through air.
Through air, exactly. And do you think like exo
I think you're breaking up. Yeah.
Yeah, your voice is breaking.
Just disconnect and reconnect, maybe. I can't hear you.
Is he not audible to me or for everyone?
He's not on.
Awesome. Can you guys hear me now? Am I audible? Am I audible,
Yes,
guys?
yes. Yes,
Oh,
yes, you are.
yeah. Sorry.
You're audible.
Yeah, that's the problem with fancy technology. When you want it to work, it just won't work. But yeah, anyways, coming back to the point. So, what do you think is the hardest medium for you to spread if you are a virus? Thoughts? Sorry? And did anyone say something? Come on, guys. We are Avalon, right? Is it blood? Is it blood, guys? I think blood is like probably a harder medium to spread if you're a virus.
The simplest way, like
So,
to
since Sumit is
interact
saying
with people,
something.
like yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. So what I want to tell you is that the reason this shift is happening is because today's world is more about that air-based viruses rather than those blood and HIV-based viruses. You have to be something which spreads at much faster rate, and you have to validate that for that certain market segment, for that certain direction, and that certain kind of people, that certain kind of audience, and that's the whole game. If you understand it, you are gonna win it. So I'm going with this today, and we're going to learn a lot of stuff. So hold your horses and prepare your maybe probably your phones or desktops or whatever you have to take screenshots, because you're going to do a lot of them. So yeah, guys, can you guys see my slides?
Yep.
Yeah, but we can see it.
Awesome. Cool. So what I wanted to understand is that one of the most problematic situations right now is that we as founders are very positive about our hypothesis, right? So what happens generally is when you have an idea in your brain, let's say you think that making something like Zomato, while nothing like that exists, was really cool, and you had that thought in your mind, and then you decided to prepare a product and you launched, and when you launched, this is the kind of vibe you have, that all right, I'm going to crush it. But as soon as the launch happens, this is exactly the situation you lined up in. So what's the gap? Why do some people while others land out in a way? In order to understand this, one of the most important factors you need about how can you de-risk multiple statements, multiple hoardings, multiple problems, and how self increases the valuation, which basically means your own value of your startup. So do you know what problem you're solving is one of them. That's how it starts. Does it actually work? Will someone pay? How many people will pay? Can non-founders sell this? Can you scale this? And probably some other questions. And that is exactly how you increase the valuation of a startup. So this is a very different perspective onto how do you increase your valuation. It's about removing these roadblocks and keeping them on a access on time and valuation. So how do you de-risk, right? what the hell do you do in order to basically crack this code of launching products from rough ideas in your brain? You basically need to understand startups first. So there are majorly three components of a startup, which is the problem. Now, people have very different opinions of problem. The opinion which I like to see really good in terms of it being a component of a startup is it's the initial setting in which your company can grow very quickly. So the reason coronavirus maybe spread so quickly is because we were so, the human interactions are probably happening more than they should happen. Like, that could be one of the reasons. We interacted a lot. Like, we traveled a lot. We met each other a lot, and that's why the virality factor kicked in. So it was a condition of us being so frequent in meeting each other and so closely living to each other, the real estate being so closely packed that the virus spread more quickly. That's exactly the problem. Your problem is the setting, the condition, the environment which allows your company to go very fast. That's exactly how problems work. The solution is the experiment you are running with. Let that company grow quickly. That's your solution. You run experiments, and insight is your explanation on why your experiment is going to be successful, and insight is what you sell to investors and raise money. Okay, so how do you understand the problem? Like, what's most important about getting the problem in your brain broken down in the proper manner itself? So there are a couple of very important components to every problem statement you come across. So before I want to say something which I say a lot, okay? And I want you guys to, because this style of looking at things will change the way you see a lot of things around you. So everything in this world, if you want to get a girlfriend, if you want to get married, if you want to start a company, if you want to do anything in this world, this is exactly how it works. If you want to make a sale, this is exactly how it works. Every world is about going from point A to point B. Okay? Everything in this world is about going from point A to point B. Now, while you are covering that journey of going from point A to point B, something happens. Something breaks. Okay? And now that break, that pause, that roadblock creates room for either a struggle or a desire. Two things. You're going from point A to point B, something broke, and a roadblock. You suddenly have a struggle or you suddenly have a desire. Right? So maybe you're walking to point B and you desire that if I had a car, I could go faster. That's a desire. But if you are, let's say if you are walking from point A to point B, or driving from point A to point B, and there is a huge big rock, like a mountain kind of a rock in the middle of the road, which you cannot pass by. So that's a struggle. Now you cannot cross, you cannot go from point A to point B. And that's when market comes into the picture. That's where market comes into the picture, and either fulfills your desires or either solves your struggles, and then that market becomes something in which different players come and fight for your share. Do you understand this? Can you imagine 100 scenarios of this sort and framework which I gave you right now? Point A to point B, something broke, struggle or desire, market comes into the picture, and now there are multiple players in that market trying to fight for space, trying to fight for a piece of that market, trying to fight for that market share. So how many of you guys can understand this? I want to pause over here and take up some questions, and if you are not gonna ask some questions, I'm probably gonna stop the presentation and go back home. So yeah guys, what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about it? You can share the observation, you can share your thoughts, you can share anything you have in your mind. Anyone? There's too much echo over here. Someone is saying something. Your voice is not coming through. Anyone else who wants to share something? Ucha, there's too much echo in your voice. Can you try and stop that? All right. How many of you guys have businesses over here? How many of you do freelancing business? Anything? Can any one of you unmute? you do freelancing, agency, business, planning to start a business, anything.
Yeah, hi Rahul.
Hi,
I
Ishan.
do freelancing.
Cool. What do you do?
Website services.
You do website services. So you design websites for different businesses, right? That's what you do.
Yep.
Cool. Awesome. What problem are you solving? If I ask you that question, what's your response to that? What problem are you trying?
What I have targeted is the problem that I'm solving is I help people scale their business through website and decreasing their manual work through like building a website and helping them to scale through like my niche is
Okay. So why can't they scale without websites?
see like this niche that I have selected is it's for like let's say for fitness trainer. Okay, so if they do it manually they have to do it literally through pen and paper, right? But like if they have a website they have all organized there and it cuts all the hassles and it helps them
Right.
scale
So
it
do you think
properly.
you're solving the problem of presentation and the problem of visibility?
Yeah, in a sense, yeah.
Right. So now what do you think? Going from point A to point B, what was the point A for your customer, and what is the point B for your customer?
The point A was to
Them having a business, probably,
uh,
right? That them having a
mhm,
business is point A, right? What's point B for them?
mhm.
What's point B for them? What's the
to,
promised land for them?
to scale their business to provide better services through to
To
the
their
customer.
customers, right? Now, when they're
Mm.
going through that journey, what is breaking for them?
It's hard to scale when you're doing it manually and like when you're starting it's fine through you started with an Instagram page, it's fine.
Yep.
To do it with scale then you need a website, you need all those SEO
Right.
and stuff. Yeah.
So the problem is about visibility. You do not have visibility, right? You do not
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
trust when you only are an Instagram page and not a proper website, right? You do
Mm.
not have
Yeah.
management, so you cannot scale because things become hectic. So these are the problems, not
Yeah.
desires. These are the problems which your customers face, and you solve that problem, right?
Mm.
So that's a market.
Yeah.
Do you think you have competition? There's other players in this market. Do you think that
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Obviously, yeah.
Right. You're finished.
Yeah.
Do you plan to in your life?
As of now, like
But someday,
yeah, maybe someday.
right? So what's point A for you in that?
Looking for
Right? Or maybe have someone in mind. Let's say yes. Point B.
to like the idea that you
Should like you. While you're going in that journey, what will come?
might not get along, this of the fact, partner in my head, then come with someone and yeah, that might be like with when I did girl previously. So yeah.
Right. Right. So probably they have different, and like you have a different expectation,
Yeah.
or like you have the same
Yeah.
expectation but different expectation, right? Something of that nature, right?
Mhm.
uh, uh, you solve that desire of her. Like maybe it's looking good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's being more smart. Maybe it's being
Mhm.
more trustworthy. And you try to solve that problem. Do you think that people fight trying to like capitalize on that, trying to basically get to their point as well, which might be same market comes in their market? Do you think that's true? Right. So now what I'm going to tell you is how the world operates. This is the fundamental of
Yeah.
how everything in this world operates.
Yeah.
And in this manner, 80% of your profit. This is basic everything. The
Yeah.
problem now the issue is that is viable enough for you to get into. So the first thing is what's the nature of this problem? And that's what we covered right now. Is it to convenience? Is it related to luxury? Is it something which is the essence? Okay. So an example could be having heroes of which a business can salary is an essential thing. But having, let's say, Max in a setting, convenience, right? But you have IMAX, so that luxury. The different nature of problems which these two people solve. There are many people actually impacted by this problem. Like how many millions, thousands, how much? Then how threatening it is, how mild it is, how normal it is. And consequent, this problem is at what rate is it up? So let's take example of Zomato. How many of you have not heard of Zomato? Please make your peace right now. Heard of Zomato? Heard of Zomato? I think you'll have to probably unmute and say yes to,
Yeah,
for me to understand, because I'm not
Yes,
understanding.
yes, they have got
Thank you.
the
Thank you so
unmic, no
much.
one has heard.
Standing not to, you're happy to leave because I want you to speak if you're here. All right. I don't want you to get any value from my sessions if you're not someone who would actively participate in a community exercise. Okay. Awesome. Coming back to the topic. So I am a bachelor. I'm living in a city. I want food. How many times in a day do I need food? Minimum.
3
times.
Minimum
And,
3 times.
and how many days in a month do I need to eat food?
30 days, all 30 days.
30,
If
31.
I don't know how to cook, how large is that problem for me? How frequently that problem occurs to me?
Every day,
Very big.
3 times.
Every day. So is it a good problem to solve in that case? Because then if the frequency of the problem is very high,
Absolutely.
right? Now you have to understand cost of the existing solution. That is another factor. So I can also go to a restaurant and I can have food, but is that cost effective for me?
No.
Probably not. Why? Because I will not get to see multiple options. Maybe I can get the same thing, same paneer for a cheaper price, which Zomato provides me with. The option to look onto, but others don't. So the cost of solving this problem for me is very huge. So that makes it a very good problem to solve. This is the C section of a problem. This is the step you need to do first. This is everything to do with your journey. If you do this well, you the most important. This is where I see many Avalonians being stuck with. Problem is, this is the ideal things which your problem should exhibit. So if you want a shorter version of this slide over here, you should probably take a screenshot of slide. It should be a problem. It should be a problem and a problem. It's not even case if you from here. These ideals inside these characteristics inside your problems. Now, how do you identify problems? How do you exactly basic way? Go and interview the players. Go and interview everyone existing in that space who has a similar problem. Who you think might problem. It's going to someone can go to me. Yeah. So now, so if they family are going to do think, do you think chartered families being from some? Do you think largest market size? Right. So right, so you understand who these problems resonates with, and that's why asking you're going to talk regarding a problem, a lot of different types. So actually, when you make this about it, divide that into self powers to teachers during education. Now, multiple he can target tuition teachers, he can target school teachers, he can target PhD teachers, he can target teachers, like so different kind of teachers. Right. Now, he has to understand that in order to the most pressing segment to start with, I need to interview each of these segments. And then I'll get a bit about my problems, the problem I'm trying to tackle. Okay? So, yeah, and talking to the right people, another thing, with especially in Avalon, people come over here and then they startup idea can get it from me. So, okay, all right, you're doing size, but always talk to your right, your validated people to section. That's the most important lesson which you can take. Now, defining players, who is it that you're going to talk to? Who has and basically build a profile of these people. So most important to do is profile. So you talk about the industry, you are trying the size of that industry, about the maybe if you're a technology company, the kind of technology they are using, and other separate things, right? Now, see another thing. One of the biggest thing from people's ICP things include your ICP. And now I'm gonna try to build ICP for one. So if any business or a business idea, or service business product, I would prefer that. Just like unmute. Let's about your. Let's break it down. Let's CP of your business. Oh, who wants to go?
Rahul,
Anyone here wants to go?
hello. Yeah, so
Yeah,
Rahul,
go ahead.
I'm not into, I'm actually into B2C, what I'm trying to build Metap in. So is it fine if I
Awesome.
share? Yeah, so what I'm trying to do is, I want to create like one stock market page. So what I've observed is there are a lot of groups, even here in Avalon, we have one. Them.
Awesome.
A lot of other, so I want to create one like that of Dream 11, so that the engagement level and there are more people in the stock market. Best way to learn. So that's the best one we're trying to solve, and also the prototype in the way. But how would you help me?
Awesome. This is a good thing. And like one of the first ideas I would now first my so that's the question I would ask. What industry are you trying to get?
So I mean, like it will be gaming and fintech space, I have to say.
Right. How do you think fintech and gaming? I'll try to break it down for you. You technology for finance. That's the industry. How do you include of your trainer? And I want to keep that. So, what? This is the installation. This generation knows than anyone else. So, if I'm making an Instagram post about all the tags you would put in over there. Okay, tags. Take off the tags one by one, and then if whatever looks like awkward to remove, just keep it. Then you will come up like from bunch of different tags to very small number of tags, and then trying to see which relates best to your industry. You ask a couple of people, and you would in the tags for your students. So I did in my mind right now. By cleaning it up, every last speaking, I was making a tag in my brain, and then suddenly I entered the lines when you finish. And the two gamification that I wish that I don't, and or tech, right? So you are a finance education technology which is using gamification to make the process money, right? Now, what's the size of your market, right? It's basically the number of transactions per year in the stock market size. That's your total size. That's called total addressable market. Okay, and I'll come to that a little later. Okay. Now, similarly, what problems are you trying to solve? That's another part of your ICP. Okay, and who
I get that if you want.
Understand? I'm just telling you, this is a very good exercise that you can do. You can sit and you can break all these things twice, right? And it will give you a break to the kind of target, kind of messaging you need to make for your company. So, who are you going to solve it? What are the general demographics of people who do stock trading looks like? Okay, that's what you need to find out. Then you need to find out what are the problems they face while doing that process. What are the problems if you're going from point A to point B? Again, same question. Once you're done with that, then comes the other part of moving on from this space. Once you have defined your ICP, you can start to find, and also you found the pain in the same process. Then comes the process of design a solution. But for step 2, I'll quickly just shoot a question which is something you can screenshot and you can the questions that you ask, especially in the B2C, it's much easier. In B2C, it's much more. I draft a version of that. I'll probably edit these slides so you get more resources and solve this problem. Do you think after you solved it, do you think there was any alternate way of solving it? So with us Indians, there's a very typical thing which happens, and agree with me. Just unmute and say something if you agree with me over here. When we are in debates or when we are fighting with someone, after we have had the fight, we think like, "Arey yaar, उसने ये बोला ना मेरे तो ज़्यादा अच्छा होता."
Agreed. Totally happens with me.
Agreed, right? This happened. This happens all the time. So sometimes while I've solved a problem DIY, okay, I was a person when I solved it DIY. Just sometime I think okay, I could have solved it in a much better way, and you can take that. Actually, that alternate method. If you which people are solving in an alternate way, take that method and pin it in a solution so that's the thing with people's mind and the right one. So this basically insight onto how to move your product or your more. Your first are going to be the perfect one, guys. Always remember this. It's never going to be perfect. That's the whole game. How do you perfect? And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And 6 point, do you know was the same problem? And the reason you're asking this question is to understand the other markets you can get into. So for the guy who just asked us that about the stock, I'm so sorry, I'm not on Discord, so I can't see your bills. But to come to, let's say you are doing professionals, okay, and you have 6 question. He's like, yeah, who has similar problem. He's calling right now. He does freelancing and also invest in stock. So that's another market for you now. Why talk much? That's a new market you discovered. Okay, each student is not a bit my word. So you get the idea, right? This is the method which you can basically comes into, you can move ahead and you basically find solutions after. Come to that later. That's the second part of today's conversation. Meaning, right, I want also 5 minutes of Q. Thoughts?
For the
Any thoughts regarding how to identify them, how to interview your customers, how to find that. You cannot tell if I have some issues with muting your mic.
Hello, Rahul, am I audible?
Audible?
Yes.
Okay. So my question was that I have I have a reselling company. We sell softwares.
Mhm.
So what is the general problem here that we call people and the conversion rate is very low, or we email
Okay.
drop, yeah, and so the conversion rate is very low. So what can we do for that? Just
So I think you joined a little later. This session,
uh-huh.
moving from ideas to product. So this is like a very primitive and the startup journey. What you're asking is about scaling up, or probably like something to do with a much later stage. Drop me a message. We will talk this in private. I'll share. Right. Awesome. All right, guys. So let's say that your problem has been already what the problem is. Now it's the time for you to solutions regarding these problems. Now, what do you think is the ideal way of finding a solution? Can anyone unmute and say something? Like, so we found our problems by talking to our customers. How do you think we should find solutions? Anyone has any idea? You can say dumb answers. There's no dumb answers. By tactical approaches. What are these tactical approaches?
Means to face a problem that you face it, right? Solve a problem that you have faced. It would be more better.
That makes sense. That's smart, but solution has to be designed in a proper way. For example, Discord has a certain so amazing. So Slack is trying to solve the same problem. A lot of the other community apps are trying to solve the same problem. But the reason Discord is better is because it has a certain design. The solution to that problem is a certain design. So how do you get to that design? How do you get to that place of that design of that solution being? So the Zomato is like a marketplace. So it could necessarily एक भूखे को खाना खिलाने का प्रॉब्लम जो था डिलीवरी करके उसके घर पे marketplace बना था.
Okay.
They could have made their own food as well, but there's a reason they picked marketplace because it's more scalable, right? There's a reason they picked deliveries. They included delivery. There's a reason they included you can see your delivery guy in real time coming to your location. That reason. So how do you design the solution? So any thoughts on that? Anyone can probably share some ideas on that?
By actually talking to the users, or it should be like and also directly you need to find out also if sometimes it's not the user because user directly needs the solution itself, but it should be like how I will be able to solve this problem and looking out for ways directly by researching about it online, because there must be something already there in the online space, like in the on the internet.
Great. Very good point. Very good point. So guys, yeah, that's actually nailed on perfectly. So the reason I would not talk to users while you're writing a solution is very famous founder of Ford. I think that if you ask customers, will
Exactly. This is the point. Yeah.
Right. So you as a founder have to have your own unique insight onto the problem, onto the solution. Right. So first you sit and you hypothesis on your own. That okay, this looks like an ideal solution. Got the ideal solution prepared with you. Then you take that to market. And that ideal solution should not be a website, should not be an app, should not be anything which is working. It should be a design. You need to go to Adobe XD, you need to go to Figma, and you need to create clickable designs. And then go to your people who interviewed earlier to find the problem and ask them, okay, does this solve your problem?
Rahul, can you please repeat this points which you just said? Can you please do that?
Yeah. What I said is that you as a founder need to have a unique insight into the market you are going in. That's founder market fit. That's what we call, right? You as a founder should know about that market. Via research or via experience, that's up to you now. If you're making a stock app, I would expect you to know the problems of stock trading. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense. So you first use your own brain, use your own hypothesis, sit with your own team, prepare your own whiteboard, and you can find prop over there. It's there, and you come up with a solution, and you design a prototype or not. I'm using a wrong way again. I like designs. That's the keyword I was looking for. You just make UI UX. So think Discord ka screenshot of the front page. That's all you need. At the same time, you take that, you go back to your customer. Does this solve problem? okay, this looks good. I don't understand that here is present after 50 people. Then see answer coming. You go to design board, you talk and you say them, hey, let's add this to the design based on the customer feedback. Then reiterate the design. Go back to the customer. Like, this looks good now. Cool. This looks good. Let's ask him to build it now. Now you understand
Alright.
5-step process now? And why this is very good because you are not spending a lot building in the first place. You're spending to get people involved in your process. That's first. So that the people you're talking to so long, you start selling you the solution, and that's when you're showing them design and they say, okay, yeah, this looks good. Now before building a pre offer, a pre-offer, we are only giving first 100 users. You'll ask the validation.
So do you
Yeah,
mean like
go ahead.
giving a list of beta users?
Yes. Makes sense?
Yeah,
Now,
it does.
I want to point out a couple of more things, couple of more technicalities which I missed out on, and I want to go back to that. This is what happens when you don't have proper slides. This is what happens when you have impromptu meetings before this. But yeah, anyway, so what we cover right now is the problem and the solution segment. We missed out on the insight segment. Okay, that's the last part we're gonna cover. But before that, I just want to add one more thing: how to find co-founders, because that's a very important step of the process. How do you find people who believe in your solution itself? So always the right way of finding a co-founder is once you have come in and talk to the value. Now you have a sales. What's the hypothesis for a solution? You have a sales. And the first your startup might be to find a very good co-founder. If you're able to ask someone who is probably getting a better salary at a company to quit his job or maybe not take that job and come work with you on a certain idea, that's the validation. Okay, you are onto something. Getting in that state, something wrong, which you need to fix. Okay, so you have to do that. That's very important. You can be a single founder as well, but I generally recommend to work in teams. Smart guy called Chaitanya Sharma said that to me. 2020 is not about competition validation. So how do you do it? You start to activities. You start active skills you're not good in. So you start to be active in development related communities on Discord, on Facebook, on Reddit, on different places, and you see who are actively participating and you pitch them. Okay, so that's that. You need to take more communities, many communities, and there are many niche communities. Start getting into those communities. Okay, that's how you find co-founders. All right, that's covered. Let's get to the insights part now. What does insights actually mean? Insights mean what's your unique. After you have done that beta thing, okay, that's the first thing. You prepare a pattern. Now you have got a solution. You're starting to build thing, and now you want even more validation. So you do that by asking people to pay for you for that's right. How you know? Okay, take name of the company, but I'll do it. This is a very shoe brand, one of the biggest online shoe stores. The founder recently died. Unfortunately. Can you tell me the name of that brand? I want to see how active you are pulled.
Yeah, Zappos, obviously.
Zappos. Do you know how Zappos started? What was the story of Zappos? How they did solution statement? Does anyone know the story?
No, sorry.
Awesome. I'll tell you the story. He couldn't find a pair of shoes in the local store, and that gave him the idea of selling online. But then again, he had to decide to first validate his idea before he quit his high-paying job to start building it, right? So what he decided is he is going to fake his product. Okay, so what he used a technology called concierge MVP. Okay, it's generally used for testing e-commerce product ideas. It's not very applicable for products, but if you startup he has been very bad. Happened is it's simple. Just replace as much as manual work. Okay, so it can be that you are doing. So let's say the solution will be to avoid any coding and to provide all services to customers by doing 100% things manually. So you basically try to fake automation. That's what you do with a concierge MVP. Okay, so this is not fit for everyone, but it works out in most of the ideas. So that's what even the Zappos founder did. A page where you can just choose, or I am not sure whether it was flyers he handed out or something of that nature. Okay, without even having anything, he just wanted to test the idea of whether people would buy online or not. And then he saw that in very few, like days, the thing which made flyer or a page or something or message or something, I don't know what that was, went really viral, and that like huge number of people requested that certain and they were ready to buy it online. They were ready to pay in advance. That validated his idea of going forward with this. Similarly, what you can do is there was a very famous company called Slidebeans, which makes slides, presentations. So they prepare for and like we are live, you want to sign up and it's for the being up. So sign up, okay, what you can do similarly for you can have a product based prototype. There's many low solutions out there now, code solutions like Bubble and make Framer. You might see a lot of ads on Instagram of a tool called Framer. So you can prepare these things which are not actually software and perform very small tasks, not working just the UI, but a little operational UI. Okay, so if you just click on the next button, you'll move to the next button. I think even Adobe XD can do this. I'm not really sure about it. So you build that and then you ask. Yeah.
I have a question regarding this prototype part. So what would you suggest for a newbie like who's just trying to create the UX? We should use Figma or we should use Framer, like to build at least someone can should we use?
The same person is making the stock app. Okay,
Yes.
for you, I think it would be for something like Bummer because for you it's also about the product gamification. It's like Framer or like Bubble Match, but also mostly how people.
All right.
Awesome. Now, guys, now this is the most important part. You package your offer. So it's gonna be $50 per month. Okay, and you say that, hey, since you are one of the early customers, we'll try to give you for $100 for a whole year. Even after that, we'll give you for $30 per month. Whereas other customers will pay 50. You try to increase your penalty. You can offer. You try to give them early bird discount. ये events बहुत होता है यार. You might have seen events. If you put a ticket early, you get a discount. So you offer them, and then now you start over. You make a community, they share, make feedback, and all that stuff. Okay. Now your insight segment start. Insight is directly equal to just one line, which is called unfair advantage. This unfair advantage is the reason your solution is going to work and why you're going to win versus everyone else in the market. Types of unfair advantages. First is, are you out of the other 10 people involved in the solution? Are you like the best founder this company can have? Right. So are you an expert yourself? So founder is also unfair advantage. While you are validating them, there's a very important term you need to go and search about and read about it, and I'll provide sessions on this. It's called total market, which basically means what is the total market size of the problem it has? Is it good? Is it fast growing? To identify it, and always ask this in the pitch. Without this, there's just no pitch deck. If anyone has told you that you can have a pitch deck without total addressable market, he is the biggest foolish shit in your life. You need to have market size. You need to have a total addressable market you're going off. And that is another advantage. Are you in a very fast growing market? Okay? Acquisition customers at a super low cost. That's another. And then there's monopoly. Are you the first player to do this? Is it a winner take all market? So now, one more thing. I'll just finish with that. At least the most important out of all this, also sticking to your product. So if you have an app like Zomato, it to your friends, are your customers also doing and sharing it with others or also using it frequently? I'll give a very good insight. Okay, how many of you know this app called True?
What?
Do you know this app Truecaller?
Yeah.
Truecaller.
I do.
Yeah. Cool. How many of you here came across Truecaller with the help of it?
Sorry.
So,
Like Truecaller, was it because of an advertisement? What is because of an app?
No.
I think a friend of you came to you and said that, hey, सुन, मेरे को ना कोई भी नंबर बताओ और मैं तेरे को नाम बता देगा.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
If I'm wrong, right?
They almost never ran ads. Yeah. It was so fast. Like that's what happened. And see, now what do you need to do? You're making, but what I'm trying to tell you is that in this, this word retention, that's make sure कि बंदा always comes back to your app, uses it again and again, and people that your product should skip. Okay, so this end is a session and also Q&A after this, but I'm gonna do a very humble request to you guys. Okay, I've done this after, and I think if you are from really got amazing insights, here. I've been trying to give these amazing insights to more and more people. If there's a word of mouth, okay. So if you like this, if you want to be retained to this, if you want to return over here, then I really want you to go and spread the word. Okay, and if you do that, I'll be happy to share the slides with you. I'll be happy to probably share a small, good PDF of all whatever I told. There's a very good PDF which covers all these things, which you can go through. So I can share that as well. But what I want you to do is share your honest opinion in the main channel about this session. Okay, I don't want our points from you. Just go to the main session and leave your detailed review about this, about what campaign, about what was different about this than any other session you have done. And you really enjoy it. Keep rating, okay? Everyone who's giving, please rate it. That is something which I would love to see. Because I want to improve. I want my product with me. That's how I'm going to do it. I'm running a beta cohort now. So I'm going to ask for customers for feedback. So you guys give me feedback, rate me out of 10, and I'll improve. People, I would love to see 35 reviews. Please, guys. And I really request that from you. Like, genuinely requested. And I've never done this before for myself. I've only done it for others.
Right
but yeah.
Which channel?
Stopping
Main
you.
channel?
Main channel.
Okay.
Thank you so much, guys. And with this, I'm gonna stop the screen share. We're also officially to.
And Rahul, thank
I'm
you
going
so
to
much.
open house for Q&A.
Oh,
Yeah,
Q&A
and I can do follow sessions on how to design a perfect solution. Like this is a very wide topic. You understand? Like a very huge overview of this. There are many methodologies. How do you actually interview customers? How do you actually validate your ideas? How do you actually, find out the target addressable market? How do you find TAM? And how does TAM relate to the success of a company? There's a lot of topics inside here which we can discuss. There's a whole MBA, dude. So what I want to ask is that would you like to see more complimentary sessions one after one on this topic of how do you build a startup? Like
Yes.
actual actionable framework advices. One thing which I really like to do in my sessions is give you something actionable, something which you can go home and do. And I think in this session it was full of actionable things, something which is achievable.
Yeah, we would like to know more about the
Much
product design
House of M.
and solutions. That's possible.
Awesome, awesome.
राहुल, ये डिस्कॉर्ड का ना ग्लिच चल रहा है जिस वजह से मैं टैग नहीं कर पा रहा तुझे, बट या मैंने रिव्यू
Right, yeah. Thank
छोड़ा
you so
है.
much, dude. Thank
Okay?
you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So do you guys have any questions regarding the whole thing?
Hello, am I audible?
Q&A session चल रहा है.
Totally
Yeah, go
audible.
ahead, man.
Yeah, so एक मिनट मेरा glitch हो रहा है एक second.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are, man. Go ahead.
Totally audible.
So Rahul, you gave example of Zomato, and you were saying that first figure out what the problem is, and then see that the solution is better than the alternatives present in the market. So as you said that is Zomato is providing food in with cost lesser than the market. Well, I don't think that's true. They're actually charging quite more than the food if you can go get the food from the restaurant yourself. But the thing that dominates over it is the laziness factor. People want stuff in their hand rather than going out and seeking for it. So yeah,
right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, no, I
that's the
agree.
thing.
Agree. See, what I basically meant to say is that there are multiple problems while going from point A to point B, right? And you can basically solve those problems, and you can build solutions designed for those problems. I've seen multiple situations where I've got food which was like a little cheaper as compared to like the go-to restaurant which I prefer to go. Like basically they have made a catalog, right? I know this one restaurant that I go to or two restaurant that I go to, and and I would probably go there. But the same paneer chili might cost a little lesser in the other restaurant, and I'm obstinate to look at it. So it gives you a much better insight, and that's what I was trying to refer. But I agree that the prices can like those technicalities can definitely be a little off, and I'm sorry that I didn't take that into consideration. And I'll try to be more analytical from the next time.
No, your talk was great, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you for the information that you're trying to share with other aspirants, and thank you for the whole project.
Awesome. Thanks, dude. Like, yeah, I'm generally telling you that like this is no other way. This is like generally you can definitely innovate a lot in this itself, but this is how it starts. It starts with going to market, talking to customers, identifying problems, then building solutions, then taking those solutions to them back with designs. I don't want you to code. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Don't code unless and until you have like a solid. Don't spend too much unless and until you have like a solid sign from the market about this being really good. So it's all about that. You have to like start with that.
Rahul.
Yeah.
Can you bring some light on Indian SaaS market? Is it the good time to get into this, or it's still?
Yeah, cool, dude. I think probably it's the best time to get into the Indian SaaS scene, and I think we are going to rule the SaaS. That's what my vision is. If we want to go to the
like all of the companies that you share every time, they provide service to US. Like they develop products for US based audience, but can you share any biggest SaaS product which is in India and serving India?
Zoho, the majority of the user base is from India. Like a lot of products, like Netcore had majority of their users from India. And there are a lot of other companies like which have majority users in India. Some of them build it for US and they want to expand into US, but because of the pricing factor, Indians find it very affordable, and they have the market. And so, if you want me to give you a proper number, I think the SaaS transactions have increased more than 40% year over year from 2017 to 2020. I mean, removing the COVID industry itself from Indian companies itself, right? So people are adopting. I remember there's a very cool thing which someone shared with me. So there was this founder of a very big Indian SaaS company, I don't remember the name, where they go and they talk about something very cool, which is they went and I'm no offense to anyone, okay, no offense to anyone, if please don't take it personally, this is just like a joke which I thought I could share. This was back in 2016. They were trying to sell a SaaS solution for accounting to a Marwadi businessman, okay, and they said it you have to pay like $100 per month, and the Marwadi businessman was like, ये क्या यार, हम भाड़े पे नहीं लेते, हम पूरा खरीद लेंगे एक बार में, आप दाम बताओ. So do you get the point? What I'm trying to refer over here is that it's actually decreasing. It's no longer the scenario that was back in 2016 itself. And the startup scene has really hot since then, and we are doing pretty good, from that time onwards. And I think in India you can build solutions 4 times cheaper as compared to US, and we can build better solutions because we are a hub of engineering power. What we don't have is smarter sales and marketing people who can scale them, and that's where the country is heading now. We are getting more and more smart revenue, intelligence people out here who can actually build smarter products, scale them. And I'm seeing like products like Hippo Video or something of that nature are actually competing with like the products of the US. Zoho and Freshworks are competing with Salesforce, and they're doing pretty good. HubSpot, they're competing with HubSpot, and they have like taken a huge pie of that market. And also, the market itself is expanding like anything. So because of those reasons, I really believe that this is a very good space to be in right now, and this is probably the only space which is going to take us to the 5 trillion economy vision which we have in our mind. We are gonna, if we are gonna get there, it's gonna be through software companies. It's gonna be through SaaS, and the major reason again is you can be super profitable in a very short term as compared to a B2C startup. Like, Cred is not profitable yet, as much as I admire Kunal Shah is my favorite entrepreneur in India right now. It's not yet profitable. Oyo, the crown of India, is not yet profitable. And B2C startups take a lot of time to get to profitability. But all the SaaS startups in India which you're seeing are at the top, like HighRadius, Postman, Dhruva, all of these companies.
Okay.
They're generating tons of money. So that's the advantage which B2B SaaS companies have over typical prosumer or consumer-based companies out in the West or even in here. So yeah, I hope you guys get the idea now.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah,
a
we
lot.
got the idea. Yeah, by the way, there was someone now who was writing notes of this session. Can he just came up and tell me who that was?
Someone was making notes. Thanks, guys.
No, I mean,